In this session, I'll show you how to manipulate data by combining, splitting, duplicating, changing the values of, resetting, and creating new variable sets. A variable set is a group of one or more variables and are used to create analysis like summary tables and crosstabs. Sometimes you might want to group individual variables into one variable set. To do this, in the datasets tree, select the variables you want to combine. Hold down Shift to select multiple. Right-click and select Combine. They can also be split into separate variables by right-clicking and selecting Split. Sometimes it can be useful to have multiple versions of the same data. For example, maybe you want to show age in some analysis with all its categories, and a summarized version in other analyses. This is done by selecting a variable set, right-clicking, and choosing Duplicate. Then modifying the duplicate version. I'll create a table using the original age variable, along with a duplicate version, and modify only the duplicate version. You'll notice that the original age summary table has not changed, and your original data remains intact. The structure of a variable set determines how it's shown in a table. This table summarizes a nominal multivariable set, showing rating categories across brands. If we click on the variable, we can see how Displayer has structured this variable in the Object Inspector on the right. Sometimes it's useful to restructure variable sets that show as multiple rows and columns, so the data is easily cross-tabbed with banners and other variable sets. For example, you can show a top 2 box of the people who selected love or like by changing the variable set structure to binary multi. And checking Count this value for like and love categories in the value attributes. We can also see the average of numeric ratings instead of percentages for each rating category by changing the structure to numeric multi. Let's talk about the value attributes of variable sets. You can modify these as needed to make sure your calculations are being performed as expected. This is especially important when you are working with a dataset that did not have metadata. For example, a .csv file. In this example, the brand attitude variable set may be on a scale of 1 to 5 or -2 to 2. These two scales would give you very different averages. You can confirm and change the settings through the Values button in the Object Inspector. You can edit all of this information in the window directly, or use the Export and Import buttons to copy and paste the information to Excel for faster editing. Hovering over a label or value will show you the original value as it was on import. You can always reset the structure and value attributes to their original state by clicking on the variable in the datasets tree and then clicking Reset in the Object Inspector. You can also reset combined categories of a table by clicking on a row in the table and selecting Reset Table Categories. In addition to creating new variable sets by duplicating them and modifying them, you can create new variables by clicking the floating plus button that appears when you hover in the datasets tree. One of the most common ways of creating new variables is to use our ready-made new variables menu. Here, you can find shortcuts to creating new variables for top and bottom two boxes, or new NPS variables, along with other options. New variables can be created using R or JavaScript too. Our Help Center has some resources to help you get started. You can also create new variables from text variables using our text categorization tools. I cover that in the text analysis video.